So the first model is the Transtheoretical model. The first stage is the pre-contemplation stage. During this stage, the patients will have no intention on taking the vaccine. So as far as the patient is aware, they don't see themselves ever taking the vaccine in the foreseeable future. In order to move them towards the next stage, which is the contemplation stage, this intervention will provide patients with necessary information in order to quell any misinformation or preconceived notions that the patient may have about the vaccine. So this intervention will have a focus on towards how the vaccine was produced. Like a lot of people are anxious on why the vaccine was produced so quick, considering COVID is a new disease. So this intervention will provide patients with necessary data like Operation Warp Speed, or like the emergency use authorization for the different vaccines, among other things, and also how beneficial the vaccine is in general on how it can prevent several strains of COVID, among other things, and then provide them with data on why the vaccine is important. The next stage is the contemplation stage. This is the point in which the patient is considering taking the vaccine. They plan on possibly scheduling a vaccine appointment in the future, or they may potentially consider the consequences of not receiving the vaccine. So during this stage, the patient, once they're starting to become convinced and they have plans on eventually getting themselves towards it, getting themselves to schedule a vaccine appointment, in order to further push them further along, just keep the intervention will keep providing patients with information on why the patient should do this. Like it's a persistent effort in order to try to convince the patient that they should take the vaccine. The next stage is the preparation stage. This is the point where the patient is actually scheduling an appointment to receive the vaccine or set a date to come into a vaccine site. So at this point, the patient is convinced and they've already taken measures to schedule themselves an appointment to receive a vaccine or to set aside a date in order to come into a vaccine site. Or in order to make sure the patient comes in, the intervention will during the intervention, constant um, maintenance calls will be given to the patient, or reminder calls or reminder messages, just to make sure that the patient actually comes in to the vaccine site or wherever so they can receive the vaccine. And then they will move on to the action stage, which is when the patient commits to coming in on the assigned date. At this point, the patient has already received a vaccine or will receive the vaccine, or they are receiving the vaccine. And this intervention, due to the reminders before, will make sure the patients do come in to receive the vaccine. And then follow-up messages will be given to the patient so they can move on to the maintenance stage, which is dependent on depending on whichever vaccine the patient receives, they will come back in for the booster shot. So it's constant persistence, like making sure the patient comes back. So when they receive either the Pfizer or Moderna shot, those are the two vaccines that require a follow-up. The patient will actually come in. Like it's all about persistence with this intervention and constantly providing information and convincing on why the patient should come in.